Alright guys, so I am back here and this is episode number 4 on Saxlingham Farm on our Zero to Hero challenge. So, as I've tried to record the start of this episode twice now, and I have failed. And the reason for our money being low is we did try and do an irrigation contract and it completely glitched out and crashed my game twice, so we won't be doing them. Fair to say. But as part of that, I did end up buying this, which is like a little 500 quid free water filling station, which should be rather useful for us. At least later down the line, maybe. Not so much now. But as we have it, that has got me thinking as to quite what we want to do. So, what I was thinking was construction. We could do some greenhouses. I'll have a little look into it. We're not committing just yet. Greenhouses, okay. I don't know if there's any difference between these and like the plastic tent covers. Don't think there is. I think it's just a matter of cost. Wow, this is a lot of okay, so we will need to, since it overlaps with other objects, which it quite obviously doesn't. It could be some of the tree stumps. So we would have to come in and fix that. But what we could do is we could put a couple of these down, which would be quite useful. So, yes, that's something I'm probably going to have to look into a little bit, because free mode. Ooh. Okay, so we can do that. But yeah, so that's something I would sort of like to look into, and we would have to spend a bit of cash, you know, getting all the tree stumps removed. Actually, tell a lie, I think we can do it with these. Yes, we can. So let me just cut a few of these tree stumps out. Oh, bro, that makes life a lot easier. So, yeah, we're just going to get rid of these. See, I'm going to continue just getting rid of a few of these tree stumps here, or what is exactly left of them. Oh, come on. This one's been stubborn. There we go. Been a stubborn little bugger. I'm just going to get rid of this another one. There we go. Nice and easy peasy. So, what I was sort of thinking for this episode is I would really quite like to get the... that front loader that we had a look at, which being, so there's nothing in the sale. So the loader which I am on about is the centre pivot JCB one here. Now, it's not the biggest, it's not the best. I would like to put the mud guards on, it looks a lot better. But yes, so that is something that, to me, would be quite a big advantage to us, because it means that we would then be able to cut these into much bigger pieces and then plonk it into our wood chipper, which then obviously henceforth gives us much more money to, well, makes it easier for us to generate cash, which is going to be a big thing for us. Now, something I hadn't even realised myself is just quite how much land we do have here. So, we technically own everything inside of here. Now, if you have a look, we could really keep going. There is Bambi in front of us. Oh, 2 Bambis. Whee! There's a lot of trees down here, but as part of that, I think we're going to need... It keeps going. We own all of this still. If I look at the deeds, we are still well within our boundary. So we have all of these. So we do need to remember that we can come down here and still... I know it's an access road, but we can still use it, because there's a lot of trees here that would be perfect for wood chipping. So that's just something we just need to keep in mind when being up here, that we don't have to stay there. There is plenty of trees for us to continue with, and exactly why we sort of started this. I know took my chainsaw out, and that's rather loud, so I'll set this way. But yes, so one of the things that would be quite good is also for us to have a look at some of the grass fields, because I would be quite tempted to buy one. This is the pre-established grass fields. Now, yeah, I am thinking maybe how much are these down here? Okay, they're a little bit out of our price range at the moment. Might have to do, and that's just a bit too far away. I don't mind going up the road and here to some fields if we own them. That's a bit different. So, yeah, but I think they would be a good little contenders for us to play around with because, or actually, hang on a minute. If I visit this is also a full grass field. So we do have quite a lot of opportunities here, and I suppose it won't regrow here. 'Cause it's not officially in. But something like field 30 or 31, 27 wouldn't be a bad idea. Now, if we have a quick look at the growing seasons, which we are looking for grass, it stops growing in November, which isn't going to be great. Though it can still, yeah, it stops growing and plant. You can't, well, it might still grow, but I don't think it's going to grow too much in winter. So, yeah, that's something we're going to have to really consider carefully because the harvest season is all year round. We don't have to worry about it. What we do have to worry about is that it's coming to winter. We're not going to be able to get a full load out. And also, well, finances. We have 30 grand that comes out every month, which is quite a lot. And even if we were to get a simple little sidebar mower, such as this one here, or one of these, it would probably end up in this one here, or even this one. I'd probably go for the Kun one, to be honest. This looks like a good piece of kit, and then we could actually match it with the front piece. We would have to upgrade the horsepower on our tractor, but that's something we could do. Okay, so that's, call it 20. And then we need one of these. Okay, we can use this one right here, which is a Class Liner 2700. And then, see that other Schmaz one there. Okay, it is a bit bigger, so it'd probably end up in that one. Although, it is even cheaper, so can't complain. So, yeah, I just want to, that's sort of why we've not gone straight into it, is because the equipment for it is going to cost us a lot. And say we didn't even do that and we just went into this straight away, I'd probably get this. This looks sort of cheapest option, which holds 23,000 litres and is a good bit cheaper than this one. And from what I gather, it requires a lot less power, which would be better for us. But yeah, so it's not something we can be even considering at the moment because we just don't have the cash behind us. Not when we have to spend so much a month, and it doesn't even require us getting this field. So I think, unless there's some really, really good deals on the contracts page, what I might actually do is we might just go straight into, there are some good cultivating jobs. I do have to think about that because, although that's a good ploughing contract as well, to be fair. Okay, yeah, we'll do a bit of ploughing. We'll do a little bit of ploughing. Why not? Yeah, go on. There's not many times we're going to be doing this, so may as well. And we've got the biggest, baddest piece of kit. Jeez. What is this? This is a John Deere 9R 440. Damn, that is a lot of power to be in one vehicle. So this is probably going to be a bit of a weird turn for us to make. Let's make sure the road is clear. Nope, it is not. So let's just get that going, and let's get going. Let's get on the road. Just making sure that we don't clip. Oh God, look at a drunk driver going all over these roads. So this is a biogas plant. It's the first time we've actually seen that. That doesn't bode too well. Yeah, we're going to be getting on at field number 3. Okay, I am going to have to remember. So we're going to get up here. Unfurl. Brill, so we're going to be doing this. I reckon we do the top piece first. Now, if I remember, it... Okay, so he's saying it's a ½ metre offset. Is it? So if I just go down... I'm not quite sure that's just a ½ metre. Looks like quite a lot for us to just completely miss out. I know, oh, actually we shouldn't have done that first, should we? Let me... Oh, where are you going? No, 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 we do not want to work on this. We will do this ourselves. And, okay, I'm just going to say, yeah, that is accurate. We are going to do the work direction. So yeah, we are going to start on the inside lines for us to be doing. And we're going to see how that treats us. We want to be on the opposite side of that, which actually means we need to be positive. I'm going to see what that looks like. Okay. Nope. Go according to my own steam here, because this is a right load of tosh. So yeah, the way I do this is a way to keep yourself like straight. If you don't have GPS or you don't want to use it, and you do have the compass enabled, what you can do is if you look in the bottom left where we do have like the mini map, you can sort of see your degrees that you're at, and that'll show you which direction, like in terms of the compass, you are facing. It's like say, or if you've got a field that runs, or you can run it in like split it into like your 4 sections, so like 0, 90 degrees, 180, 270, 360. What you can do is, if say I know I'm going now exactly at 180 degrees in this direction, but when I come the other way, it's just going to be 180 degrees on top of that, so it'll come up to 360 and probably will round us to 0. What this now allows us to do is allows us to keep very straight lines without having to use any form of assistance, which is obviously very good, because assistance can be a bit of a pain, as we've just seen, especially when it comes to the ploughing aspect of farming sim. But we've done 1%, or we've done 5%, probably even up to 6 by the time we've got up to the very top, but we're not going to quite get there. So what I'm going to do is we're going to lift up, and then we are going to have to rotate the plough. Maybe not like such a div, but in a better style, where we are going to get our wheel in here. You can do this in first. You get your wheel on the inside of there. You lower it down. You see, look, we've got 3, 5, 8. So if we get ourselves onto 0, I know you end up going over quite a lot, but if you get yourself in third person, this is how, as far as I am aware, this is how it's done in real life. And was one of the main things one of my friends was very pleased about when he was playing this game. For reference, he is an actual farmer and does all this stuff on a daily basis. So he was very impressed with FS25 when he first started playing. But yeah, so that's just how I keep a straight line. And look, we are in that groove. As you can see in the bottom left on the compass, it is showing that we are bouncing between 360 and 0 degrees, which is for us going to be absolutely perfect. Now, I'm probably thinking this isn't the best use of our plough in terms of its width, so one of the things I am going to do is just make sure we just sort of skip over to the next line. So it's tugged us over, which isn't great. But yeah, we are going to I'm going to get on with this. This is going to be a fairly long time lapse for me to be doing, so yeah, I'm going to lift it up, rotate it over, and yeah, I will see you guys when this is finished. Okie dokie, so we have just finished up on this field. So we can get out. I mean, other than the fact that we've left a lot of like, the end pieces and it's not quite allowed us to finish up, we are actually finitoed on that one field, which, for reference, I have been recording so far for an hour. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. So, yes, oh, it's weird, I just filled everything in. Anyway, so we are now up to 112,000 Great British Pounds, and I don't think there are any really, really attractive jobs that we can be getting on with for a little bit. So, I think that it is time that we buy a new piece of kit. So let's have a quick look. Nothing available in here as of this moment in time. It's further up here. Wheel loaders, this one, and we are going to buy it. That we are. So let me just spawn over to it. So yeah, don't get me wrong, it's not the biggest in the world, and don't get me wrong, it's probably not the best either. But what it is, it's very cheap for the price. Okay, yeah, it is a bit older than probably what we're most used to, but it could always be worse. Now, that's the L180H. Big bag lifter, nope, nope, and yes. This is what we need, so we need to buy this. There we go. So let me get into the new piece of kit. And here we go. That is a very big log grab on the front. Is there any way we can get a smaller one? Because that is going to get a little bit too big. Maybe we should have thought of that before doing this. Anyway, I haven't, and this is what we're going to have to live with. We don't have too much more choices with it, so I am going to just wait for these cars to go past, and then we can get our way over to the yard, and I reckon the best bet that we can do right now is to go and see how effective this new piece of kit is. get into... Yeah, that's all gone now. But we do have... Okay, that is full. I am just going to get into my machine. I must have inverted controls on. See that, or I'm very, very out of touch. If that's lifting, I don't even know. Right, turn it off. How many litres? Okay. Diesel exhaust fluid? What the chuff is that? I've literally never ever heard of diesel exhaust fluid. Unless it's talking about AdBlue. That could be what it's referring to. Which wouldn't be too great. Actually, what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to turn this on to 1 month days, just for the moment. And then, what we are going to do, we'll turn it all off, we're going to go for a sleep up until 8 o'clock tomorrow. And the reason being is that we should also get much better prices for our wood chips next month. We will have around £35,000 leave the account, I believe. Would be my guess. £30 looks pretty bob on. Bob on. Cultivating. Whoa. 23k? That might be a next episode jobby. Because that is a very, very tempting offer. For 1 hour thick fog. Wow. Fantastic. So yeah, I'm going to get this load finished. It's probably going to end up being... Get this load sent off. We got finished ages ago. I am just going to skip past this this fog because in the past couple episodes we've had way too much fog. Come on. We also need to upgrade the power on this tractor because this is really, really, really pathetically slow, which will not be helping our causes. So yes. Right, I will join you when I am right back at our yard. Okie dokie, so we are back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop off our trailer. There we go. I'm going to pick up the wood chipper and we're going to move it into a much better and much more convenient spot. And actually what I'm also going to do is we're going to go into here, we're going to go into construction. Tower light, we are going to go into... No, it is construction. Oh, it's terraforming. Level? No. Raise, lower, soften. Yeah, we're just going to soften this. Because it's very, very jagged and it's sort of causing us some level of grief. Which isn't what we need right now. What we are needing is a gentle, nice, open area that we can be working inside of, which just will not be happening if we don't keep it nice and gentle, or using the soften tool. Because this will give us a little bit of extra space to do this, and then do that, it just sort of relieves the area. And then we're going to do a bit of painting and animal mud, just dirt track. Is that similar colour to what we've already got on here? I think it is. So we are going to change cursor shape. We are going to go in and we are going to go M. And I think I think that's a good way of doing it. And we can just sort of create a nice open area for us to be working in, which should alleviate some of the stresses we've been having. Much better. So we've got to remember this is a very, very heavy piece of kit. as a result, probably could have done with moving. So if we just reverse this so it is parallel with our, or in line with where our loader is at the moment. Is that going to hit the tree? No, I think we will be alright. As I say, if we drop that there, we can then wheel it in via its built-in. And that we should. Yes, there we go. This is much better. Yeah, I think that's alright. And we can soften that other bit of the landscape there, and we can also allow that to be a nice area for us to be in. So I'm going to turn it on. Actually, more importantly, I'm going to get this tractor out of the way. Or if anything, I'm going to soften more of the area around us because it is just not great. So we get this to just bringing this down a peg or two in terms of the land around us. So yeah, we'll just do this just to hopefully break up the monotony. So let's go grab our trailer. Let's. Oh, actually, more likely we need to move. Oh god, this is getting the right traffic jam. So we're going to start seeing from me with more and more of this. So more and more vehicles that we do get. So, for example, we're going to be picking this up in a little bit. What we need to do is need to go and grab the trailer so we can at least put it underneath there. So I do apologise. I know I should be more mindful of where let's just make this a little nicer of an area for us to be getting in and out of. So I probably need to move this mat actually because it is getting in the way. Well, not getting in the way because you can just drive over it, but it's not a good look when this is our setup now. I can need to remove that tree that is directly in front of us as well, but we can do that another time because as of this very second we need to be getting our trailer underneath. And what I'm going to do is, this is why we sort of made this area so that we can bring the truck under and apparently have a load of random wood chips just go on the floor, which is not ideal. What we can do is this. We can bring that out and wood chips are going to fall out, but it had a couple extras left in there, so that is all good for us. So we can now be getting on with what we sort of intended to be using all this for. So we can go in, we can go and grab this, bring that in, there we go. This is what was more on the cards. None of this other stuff where we can't get it in. Let's, oh, can tilt the head down a little, we can open the jaws. That can be getting into the chipper. Look at that, we would have never ever been able to have done that by hand. That has just saved us so much time faffing around with that. Now these trees are less problematic, so we can just get underneath like so, and we can be bringing that in nicely, and then we can just bring this around hoping. Come on. I'm like wrestling with the trees. Come on. Little mischief. Yes, I think with these smaller trees, what we're going to need to do is we sort of need to bunch them together. Unfortunately, I can't see that exactly being the way it is going to pan out. So, how do I do this? Because I want to get a load of them all just packed into here nicely. But looking at this more and more, it is not going to happen. What will happen, though, is I can do this. And what we could actually do is we could, open this up like so, and then we can go down to, say, here, and then all I'm thinking is, because this shouldn't be too much, aha, there we go. And same again, I think we'll get away with it one more time. I'm not quite sure we'll get away with that one. So what we should be able to do is go underneath here. Aha, there we go. See, my genius almost has its own gravity, and if you know who that statement is from, you deserve to be here. That's a good thing. This isn't a bad thing to deserve to be here. There we go. Let's just go here. Should. Yeah, it's not going to happen. What we might be able to do is at least... Let me have a quick think about this. Should only have to, like, say, chop a tiny bit of this off, and this should still be manoeuvrable to us. Yeah, it is, because these are little tiny squiggly twiggies that can be okay, it's too long. Yeah, that just needs to change. There we go. Let's swizzle that around. If you can do that with a twig this size, you are very strong. And then same again. I say with these smaller trees, it is less useful to have the wheel loader, but it is very, very useful when we are utilising things such as these other... Okay, that wouldn't move. That would be very, very good. And then we can just move these with our new wheel loader as such. We're going to bring it in. Bring it up. We are going to apparently lose it out of the side, which is perfect. Totally meant to do that. Yeah, who wants the log inside the log grab anyway? I mean, it seems a bit of a daft request. I think I've just made a massive mountain out of a molehill. Brill. Don't have to chop milk into loads of little tiny pieces now. And then, as we said earlier, we can open these jaws up nice and wide, do this, and then we can be chopping a lot of these up into the grab, especially since these are absolutely pathetic and tiny. We can just throw them in under the vehicle as well, apparently, which will be brilliant. We can throw them all in at once, which would be perfect. And then one more around here. I think these are quite light. Maybe that piece isn't, and that piece isn't. This piece is. So yeah, we'll go pick up them last logs with the grab. So let's get this in, and yeah, I'm going to continue doing this, and I will meet you back when we have maybe I think we already are full, but when we have our third load. So yeah, I'll meet you back in a second. Right, second load. Let's see how much we get for this. I'm expecting around £8,500 range would be my best guess. Loads and loads of lovely, lovely wood chips. 52,000? Oh, 8,000? Oh, nearest damn it. On the point, which is good, of course. So next month, I think actually December I think was the peak, or when it starts to become really valuable to us to start doing these. So I think we're going to get down to the yard again, and yeah. Okay, we are back from dropping that load off, and I think I'm just going to call it that for this episode. I do apologise, it's either going to be a really short one or quite a long one, depending on the edit. So, yep, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've had a good time. If not, please leave some suggestions down in the comments below, and yeah, we're going to see you next time. So, bye-bye.